Watch for them to be 3 wide on the run at turn 1. Have a look at that. They are stacked all the way back to the final corner. It's the largest ever field in the decade-long history of Aussie racing cars. It's a category that just keeps on getting better and better, and the racing will be phenomenal. Cottrell and Pingle on row 2. Row 3, Trent Young and Kyle Clues, the reigning champ in that blue and orange car number 1. Here we go, Aussie racing cars, loose at the island. Great jump from the boys on the front row of the grid. 8 laps ahead for this first race of the weekend.
And have a look at that charge down to turn 1. Oh, there's some contact.
Careful, boys. Side by side into 1.
Cold tyres, they'll be racing into here. You can see them working the wheel there, trying to get maximum amount of grip and get the most out.
Oh, no, Gowan's off the road too. Oh, they're all going off. Clues is off. Simon Smith's off.
Well, you can't win the race at turn 2, but you can certainly lose it. And what's happening here is I doubt that there's any oil on the circuit because the V8 Supercar's about. I'd say cold tyres is what's killing them here.
We've already lost a few of them, so Peter Carr has gone to the lead. Cottrell up the inside, the young South Aussie. And they just keep on coming. Have a look at this field.
We were talking about 3 wide. They've had 7 wide in places here.
We'll keep an eye on Tyler Owen and see if he can work his way through, but Mark Griffith is not working his way through. He's stopped. Locking in, that's Grant Ludby in the yellow number 30, but Peter Carr leading the way has been very solid this year.
And he's actually scooting away to a little bit of a lead. Let's hope that he's not going to get too big a gap and they can use the slipstream effect to pull him back in. Oh, look at this. Dive down into turn 1. He's locked the brakes a little bit coming in there.
They're all locking up. Kyle Clues there trying to just recover some ground because he knows that the guy out in front, Peter Carr, has won 7 races this year. That's more than any other driver in the Aussie Racing Cars Super Series. Paul Kamal here, former champion, the VIP Pet Foods Ford, right in behind, tucked up on Brendan Pingle.
And he's doing a great job. He's charged through that field on the first lap, and he wants to get to the front. He doesn't want to let them slip away too much.
You know he started 18th.
I know.
He's 4th.
And he's been around for a long time. He understands what you need to do to get the best out of this tyre.
Look, slippery surface flag at turn 1, and it catches another one. Darren Massini rips the bodywork off the front.
Doesn't look like that's going to stop him.
And it won't steer either when it's wedged underneath that left front tyre. He's done.
Well, he's not 100% sure on that.
He's not giving up, that's for sure. Let's have a look again. Replay of the start. Carr and Gowans. This was tight on the FW1 replay.
And on reflection, you'd have to say.
Oh, no, that was Griffith. Okay, that's where the problem was on the Vodafone car.
Yep.
And then turn 2, and we lost half the field nearly.
Well, it's almost like there's some oil out there, but I'd be very, very surprised. There's no flag, so I doubt that.
I think I saw a red and white striped flag. So, wouldn't mind betting. Yeah, there's another one there at Southern Loop. So remember there was a car smoking, Rob Thompson's car, on the warm-up lap. I reckon he's left a present for everyone.
I absolutely think you're right there, and it's caught half of them out.
Aussie racing cars become Aussie rally cars, and then next time around, Massini ends up slipping off at turn 1. But back to the front of the field, and this is Kamal, position 3. Trent Young's 4th, but the top 2 have got away.
They've definitely got the right size buffer. They'll need to start dicing, I think, or Kamal will have to put in some unbelievably good laps and have a drafting partner to get back up to the front.
Yeah, you can't do it on your own, can you? There's no chance you can get to them. New lap record for Cottrell that time of 49.62. This is the fight for 3rd, and Young will snatch it back. Uh-oh. This is not how Aussie racing cars should be.
No, and this is going to be a bit tricky here. They're going to come over the top of that hill, and if those 2 are still there, it's going to make things very, very difficult.
This is Tyler Owen. Remember I said he started down the back? It was 40-something. He's 18th in 2 laps.
And you look at that car moving around. He's working the steering doesn't have a lot of grip. When we look out the back and see that rear wing, it's almost flat. There's no flap on the end of it to give it that extra bit of downforce that most open wheeler cars and V8 supercars have. They're tricky little cars to drive.
And this is where the meeting of the minds occurred.
Ooh.
Over the top of MG and down to the bottom of the hill. Shane Harrison involved there, and then we've got further drama at turn 2. Mark Tarrant gets ejected at Southern Loop. Wild and willing today, that's for sure. These guys don't hold back. But Cottrell and Carr are the class performers. They're just too fast. Kamal, Young, Pingle, Adams is next. Then Sheridan Phillips. There is Kyle Clues recovering. Darren Chamberlain, Grant Ludby. That's the top 10 at the moment. And this is back on board with Maurice Massini, who's a little bit further back. Position 14. Sequential gearbox, 125 horsepower in a car that weighs around about 450 kilograms. So it's a very handy power to weight.
And they're not lifting at all coming onto the straight. In any car, that's a difficult thing to do. And they're hanging on. Look at his hand movement on the wheel.
Three-way dice for third spot. Kamal, Young and Pingle.
And these three are really holding one another up a little bit. They're not helping each other. The two at the front, Carr and Cottrell, just continually skip away by a tenth of a second or two. And if they're not careful, this will just develop into a dice for third place, and they won't be able to do anything about the front two. They need to all work together and push each other along to get up to those other two guys.
Having driven one of these, do you have to forget everything that you know about race driving and just attack? Because that's what it looks like from the outside.
They're very loose little cars to drive. They get quite taily, and so I think it feels a bit like you'd be driving a sprint car, to tell you the truth, but they're great little cars, very precise. The track feels like it's twice as wide as it normally is because they're so narrow, but they're great cars to drive. I can't speak highly enough about them.
Oh, Massini going back another gear for the exit of Siberia.
And he'll be doing that to try and help the car turn. If he stays in a taller gear and the car won't want to turn in the corner, go back another gear, makes the nose of the car drop a little bit, and then you quickly change back up again once the car's rotated and changed direction slightly.
Tyler Owen is the fastest man on the road, Brad. He's 16th and setting fastest sector time, so he could definitely make it to the top 10 in this race from position 45, which would be something quite phenomenal. We're halfway in the first race of the weekend for the FW1 Aussie Racing Cars. Peter Carr leads the way. He and Cottrell are the form drivers at the moment. Back on race day extra at the Island. It's a big weekend at the LNH 500, and the Aussie Racing Cars have got us going. Peter Carr is the race leader. We have got it covered from every angle here for the start of the season of endurance, but there's no endurance here, Brad Jones. It is a sprint, and the guy who is sprinting is Tyler Owen. He's up to 11th. He started from 44th. Don't forget too, V8 Supercars not far away.
Not only is he up to 11th, he's 9/10 of a second faster than anyone else on the circuit.
Replay here. This is Maurice Massini, who we've been riding on board with in this race, and he's ended up off through the grass. And that's how. Just a little bit of a touch there with Richard Fricker in the number 2 car.
And the hard thing is when you're behind and you see all that happening, you see it unfold, you can't do anything about it. You're braking as hard as you can. Someone pulls across and there's contact.
Tyler Owen going by Simon Smith. That is for position 9. This charge continues.
He's absolutely on the ragged edge. And you see what I was talking about the rear wing there before? There is no gurney flap on that.
And that turns these cars into great slip streamers down a big long front straight like this one at Phillip Island. Peter Carr continues to lead. Adrian Cottrell is second. Then it's Kamal, Pingle, Young, Clues, Adams, Phillips, and this car is up to 9th. It started 44th, and Tyler Owen is within 10 seconds of the lead. Kyle Clues here making a move. Reigning champ in car number 1. Has won 4 races this year.
And look at those cars drift across the road surface. They are absolutely wringing their necks.
It is such a great little category based on the Legends philosophy. I guess it was created in America, but really refined and perfected in more recent years. And this is Owen having a run at Sheridan Phillips. Flat out through the left-hander at 3. And he's out braking. It's gone all the way around the outside. That's impressive.
That car looked very loose in the back when he turned that in.
But he did make it around the corner.
Well, he's just making the most of every opportunity. He's driving the wheels of this car, and he continues to be the fastest car on the circuit, and not by a small measure either.
Remember, too, that he is coming into this race equal in the championship with Adrian Cottrell, who sits second in this race. So this is a critical drive. At the end of a championship, you'd look back at a race like this as one that really defined your season.
Well, often when you're driving, the best race you have is not the one you win, it's the one you do the best job in, and I'd say he would reflect back on this, and it'd be a seriously good drive.
That was Richard Fricker there with the left front all locked up.
That'd be chattering away and bouncing and rattling his head around a little bit inside the car at the moment. He'd be getting a pretty severe vibration from a flat spot like that.
Darren Chamberlain locked right in one of the FW1 back machines. Look at this, Peter Carr has got away. 2 seconds the margin, and Cottrell's fallen back into the clutches of Paul Kamal and Brendan Pingle. Last lap. Got to do it now. But Peter Carr looks like he's got this one in the bag. Look at that margin.
Well, he's got a great margin. He really needs to make a mistake for him not to take this one out. But here's the real battle for second place, and these guys will be going at it hard.
Well, Kamal is through. He's got the move done on Cottrell, who has not got enough to fight on back at Honda Corner. In the old days, the track used to continue all the way back up here to where our camera is. It's a little bit shorter these days.
Great move there by Kamal, and he's actually gapping him a little bit. He's slightly moving away.
His car really flying out in front.
You'd have to say Cottrell's probably got a little bit of a problem there. He's certainly slipped back, and
Brendan Pingle is closing in as well. So
yeah, he's going to be off the podium in a second.
Of course, they're a busy weekend. It's a busy category. We'll see them again on race day extra tomorrow. But Peter Carr has just done a really good, solid job here. No doubt, plenty of action. We always get it in Aussie Racing Cars. And the guys at the front really do a very, very good job. And Peter Carr will bring this one home. Has not had the fastest lap of the race, but will lead the one that matters. So this is handy in terms of the championship. Chalk up race win number 8 for Carr. It'll go all the way to the line, and Pingle has stolen third from Cottrell on the run to the checkered flag.
Yeah, I think Cottrell's had a bit of a problem there in the last couple of laps.
Still not done with. Have a look at this. 3 wide to the line. Great stuff from the Aussie Racing Cars. Tyler Rowan finished 7th from 44th on the grid. That is stunning stuff, but take nothing away from the DeLonghi Toyota. Peter Carr picks up another race win as they now cruise it on around to say thank you to the fans for coming along and checking out their racing. It is one of the best racing categories in the country, no doubt. Kyle Clues made a bit of a charge back after slipping off the road. He ended up 5th. Simon Smith 9th. Sheridan Phillips ran it at the top 10 in the second of the VIP Pet Foods cars. Right back through the order, was really tight. Morris Mercedes had a few dramas, and Adam Gowans ended up recovering for 18th. So that's the Aussie Racing Cars. They're back tomorrow. Still ahead, the Porsche Carrera Cup.